be too loud because I can't wake my son up right now, but I am juiced up. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. The Cards tied in 4-4. It doesn't matter. Bottom 9, Lindor, Hemdor, it's out of here. Let's walk it off. Let's spam those W's. Let's see it in the chat, baby. How we doing tonight? What a ball game. Oh my goodness gracious. AZ, thank you so much for the donation. Let me screenshot that. I'm gonna miss every single donation right now. There's not a chance in heck that I'm gonna be able to get to it in time. How's it going, everybody? It's your guy Wardy here, and we're live in a walk-off fashion, an amazing fashion, as the Mets just take down the Cardinals by a final score of 5-4. They're in the bottom 9 because Francisco Lindor said so, baby. What a ball game. Juan Soto with some production. Marky V with another ding-dong. Brett Baty's proven his worth finally. Peterson going north of 6 innings. Guys, a lot of positives in this one. Hype me up. Get ready as we're going to break down this ball game inning 1 through 9 like we always do. But continue to spam those W's in the chat right here, right now. Spam them, everybody. You know the drill by now, folks. Let's let it rip with the one, the only, the official WardyNYM post-game jingle, baby. Let's go! Shout out to my guys Greg and Jordan with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. I sincerely apologize if I'm lagging, everybody. It should calm down here shortly. I think it's just lagging like a mofo because of the fact that we got a lot of people coming in right now, and the boy, oh my goodness gracious, what a walk-off victory for this team. Are you kidding me? Mothman says, Wardy, I was there and caught Lindor's ball. I don't necessarily know if I believe that, baby, but I'm happy to have you in here. How we feeling, everybody? What an amazing walk-off victory for the boys here. I got every member in the chat right now. Hit that like and subscribe button as you come in. Let's break down this ball game 1 through 9 here in just a second. Pat, thank you so much for the donation. He says, Team win LFGM. Good job, Razzo. Let's see there. Good job, Razzo, after not getting rattled 1,000%. Dave, thank you so much for the donation. Dave says, Lindor, Torrens, Soto, Vientos, what a game. LFGM, baby. You love to see it. Let's go down here. Big Chungus with the El Captain donation. Alec, thank you so much. Huge shout out to Torrens, who keeps coming up big with runners in scoring position. Where would we be without him? He's so good, 1,000%. SR with a $5 holla says, that wasn't a home run from Lindor, that was a statement. You're damn right it was. He pimped that bad boy. You knew he had it as soon as it came off the bat. Steve Long with the $5 holla says, was secretly hoping that Lindor would save it for tomorrow when I'll be in attendance, but let's effing go. Hey, hopefully we get even more home run heroics tomorrow, baby. 80 degrees tomorrow there in New York. Have yourself a day, baby. Who attended this ball game? Oh my goodness gracious, guys, and I apologize. I realize I'm playing highlights from yesterday's game. Bear with me. It's just because I speed ran this entire thing. Just give me one more second. I'll pull up today's game highlights for each and every one of you. I did this. You guys had no idea how much I was shaking in my boots getting this all set up for you guys, because as soon as the Cardinals tied at 4-4, I was like, no, come on. I thought we had it, but thankfully the Mets did have it in the end when it mattered most. Let's break down this ball game, but before I do, I got to get to a couple more comments here. AZ with the $10 holla states of following. My girl, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl. My Puerto Rican king walking it off for the Mets. W, put in the books, baby. 4-letter words. Yeet, let's go, baby. Love that. Thank you so much for the donation, AZ. We also got my guy Billy Dottie, who says, grabbing a coquito after that one, my captain. Oh, I love to see that. Now I want coquito. I usually only have that around the holidays because, you know, I'm a white boy over here. I need my lady and I need her family to go and bring the coquito for me when good things are happening. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe around Easter. We'll see what happens. I digress. I'm so juiced up, guys. What a ball game. What a back and forth between both sides here. I understand it's April 18th, and I understand that usually rational baseball fans don't break a sweat here after an April 18th game, but folks, it was 40,000 strong at Citi Field tonight. You thought the atmosphere had you thinking it's October, but no! It's just a regular season matchup against a sorry-ass Cardinals, and the boys go out and get the first two games done and over with here, and a 7-game homestand, a 4-game set here. Oh my goodness, great. I know the internet probably can't keep up. Again, I apologize if there's a slight lag, everybody, but we gotta roll on in this one. We got so much to get into. What a ball game. Wow. Mates on helicopter and T-Mac, thank you so much for the donation. Guys, I hope I'm not the only one that feels like they want to go like freaking sprinting right now. Like, I feel like straight from Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio, when he does a substance that I don't recommend anyone does, don't condone it, he does it, and then he's like, we gotta run like lions, as he's doing that with Jonah Hill. Come on! And he's just bolting up the street. That's exactly how I feel right now. I'm not getting sleep tonight. Oh my god, that's over with. Alright, guys, let's get back to the top. Let's break down this ball game. This was insane. You got David Peterson on the bump against the schmuck Miles Mikolas, and I can't stand Miles Mikolas. No one grinds my gears more than Miles Mikolas. This guy said, even after Chris Bassett gave him the benefit of the doubt a couple of years ago when Pete Alonso's getting drilled a bunch of times, when everyone, their mother in the Mets labs getting drilled by the Cardinals in the first half in 2022. Chris Bassett post-game goes out of his way to say, hey, listen, it's okay because, you know what, the balls are so inconsistent, you're not making proper grips, you don't have substances to use, I get it. Then Miles Mikolas goes out and says in reply, no, we have full control in our pitches, so you are deliberately hitting the Mets? I don't know what else that's supposed to mean, Miles, but thankfully, the Mets have teed up on Miles Mikolas since that start in 2022 for the most part. They had 6+ runs on him multiple times, and they entered tonight's game needing to get the runs, and thankfully, they got just enough in this one. Dave, thank you so much for the $5 holla. Dave says, Lindor needs more daughters. You gotta chill, Dave. Trust me, I'm all happy with Lindor doing what he's doing right now, but we don't gotta condone him popping more kids just to make the magic happen, right? And his last kid was a son, not a daughter. I don't know if you know that, but regardless, let's get into this one, everybody. This game started here in the first, where David Peterson has himself a 1, a 2, a 3 inning. Peterson, we would see, get a flyout on Victor Scott, a line out on Luken Baker, and a strikeout there on Wilson Contreras, and that is what started this one. As we then got on to the bottom of the first, everybody, with 2 outs, the Polar Bears going dead center. It's over the outfielder's head, it's Siani, so it gets back there. Alonso rounds first, he rounds second, and he's safe at third. The Mets have themselves a 2-out triple where Jesse Winker sadly lines out shortly after to end the inning. Edward, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. LGM, thank you so much for becoming a new member here. If you guys are members here on the platform, continue spamming into the chat. If you guys are recurring subscribers, keep spamming. If you're new here, keep spamming. We're happy to have you. If you guys would like to become a member or you get exclusive member-wide shoutouts, among other things, you guys can click the link down below in the description to check it out, as well as our amazing sponsor here that many of you guys know at SeatGeek. You guys can utilize our promo code WARDY10. That way you guys get tickets 10% off in your next ticket purchase for Mets tickets or whatever you guys want on the ticketing front throughout the course of the year. Thank you so much for doing exactly that. But Alonso rips a triple and nothing else transpires. All right, folks. Aaron, thank you so much for the $2 holla. Good Friday indeed. Talk about a good Friday. It's a great Friday. Not complaining whatsoever. Thank you so much for the donation, Aaron. Love that. As we get on to the top of the second, everybody, we would see an early jam for David Peterson, as with 2, he would get Jordan Walker on a strikeout after Brendan Donovan continues his hit bid to, 13 or 14 straight games with a hit. Then we see Thomas Sagis, however you pronounce his name, I'm probably butchering it, rips himself a single, and then Pajes rips himself a single that gives him a 1-0 lead. So early on, the Cardinals attack first, and what I like most is how resilient this Mets team continues to be. They were down 2-0 early in this matchup, they rally back, they get the lead, they lose it, and then they get it back, and then some. This team, again, is on another level, and they have yet to have everything fully clicked yet. That's the best part of it all. Hyper with a $2 holla says, LFGM, saw the walk-off after I finished work. Let's go, baby. Happy to have you in here, Hyper. Dave with a $5 holla says, Torrens has been a godsend both offensively and defensively. You said it best, my friend. Thank you so much again for the donation. This is baseball, and it is a magical thing, isn't it, Mongoose? I can't get over it. Nothing better than baseball baseball games when they're tight back and forth, a walk-off fashion to win it. That is how you do it, baby. My goodness. Mad Team, thank you so much again for becoming a member, too. We're happy to have you in here, baby. Eric Douglas, great member. JR, Vertugo, how you doing? Mr. Rivera, all you guys, come one, come all. And as we continue to break down this ball game, folks, as we got the bomb this second, it was a 1-2-3 inning of work there for Michaelis, as we would see Vientos, Nimmo, and Mr. Torrens all go down in order. And the top of the third, it would be a 1-2-3 there for David Peterson, as he gets back-to-back strikeouts on the speedster Victor Scott and Luke Baker, and then a strikeout, I should say, actually he struck out the side. My mistake, everybody, as he got Wilson Contreras striking out Swaining, striking out the side there at the top of the third. Brilliant work there by David Peterson. As we then got to the bottom of the third, everybody, a walk-off win for this amazing team that we're breaking down right here, right now. How you doing, all things Mets talk? How many members do we need until the giveaway? We need subscribers. So we are a couple hundred subscribers away from 33,000. Once we hit 33K, we're giving away a jersey of whatever player on the team that you guys want to one lucky subscriber. And all you guys got to do is subscribe to the platform. That's about it. And again, just help us get to 33K. So thank you guys for that. In the bottom of the third, Brett the Hitman Baty with a start at second base for a second straight game over Luis Angel Acuna, something that I personally didn't love to see, as Acuna's been playing well, but so has Baty, and he deserves credit where credit's due. Baty entered tonight's game with a 4-game hitting streak, and the defense has been a liability. And Baty at the second base position gets on base for the first time today with, a walk. Baty's actually getting walked for a change. Who would have thought? Then he goes out and pulls his best Luis Angel Acuna impression by stealing second base like the dog that he is. The Mets don't score that inning, but encouraging signs by Brett Baty getting on base, and that wouldn't be the last of him you see in this ball game. As we got on a half inning later there to the top of the fourth or so, Arenado would rip himself a single. Donovan gets on via fielder's choice. A wild pitch then unfortunately gets Donovan into scoring position, where Jordan Walker would drive him in there with a single there. Frustrating at the time, obviously, as that was a ground ball, but it happened. The Cardinals are up by 2 as we then head to the bottom of the fourth, after we would see Thomas strikeout and Paez strikeout for back-to-back Ks for David Peterson to eliminate the damage. Just 2-0 Cardinals lead throughout the first 4 innings. And in the bottom of the fourth, we would see the Polar Bear get on with a leadoff walk. Then Brandon Nimmo, more like Brandon Himmo, with a 2-out single. Brandon batting 6th in the lineup today, moving down in the order because he has not had a great start this season on the contact and OBP ability. We've seen some home runs. We've seen some doubles, like what he did in the West Coast trip, mainly against the Athletics. But to see what Nimmo is doing now, we just need to see this rise and actually handling quality at-bats, going more than 2-3 pitches before your first out, right? We need to see Nimmo get back to the Jeff McNeil type mentality, where you're hacking away a lot of pitches foul till you get what you want, but you're also trying to drive in runs and not just trying to be the pretty plate setter that he was back when he was batting leadoff for the Mets a year plus ago. But I digress. Nimmo gets on there with a single that we see up the middle. Then Luis Torrens unfortunately strikes out, leaving the runner stranded, but Torrens would make up for it later on in this ball game. Eric, thank you so much for the donation in the chat. Eric says, the Mets are the best 13-7 team in NYC right now. You said it, baby. Mets are off to a great start this season. Cannot complain about it whatsoever. You should have a championship jingle for a World Series win if and when it happens. That's a good idea, but I also don't want to jinx things. I feel like if I go out of my way to get a World Series jingle, I'm never going to get a chance to play it. But we'll play it by ear, especially depending on how this postseason run ultimately goes for the Mets, assuming they get in there, right? But as we get on now to the top of the fifth, everybody, so we're right around the halfway mark of this ball game, we would see a 1-2-3 inning, great inning of work there by David Peterson, including a gorgeous grab there that Victor Scott is robbed by Pete Alonso of a base hit there down the first base side. Jumpman is Pete Alonso, showcasing that he is a Gold Glove caliber first baseman after all, and it's a 1-2-3 inning of work there for David. In the bottom of the fifth, Brett the Hitman Baty does it again, baby. His third double of the season, and he pulls the baseball. The most important thing about Brett Baty's offensive approach is the fact that he's actually pulling the baseball. That's huge. Then Tyrone Taylor drives him in with an RBI, not single, not double, but oh baby, we're going triples. The Polar Bear wasn't the only one with a 3-bagger in this one. Tyrone rounds second. He gets the third standing, and the Mets have themselves a 1-run ball game. And that wouldn't last long either, because with 2 outs finally, and I should say 1 out, my mistake, Juan Soto finally steps up to the plate. The same Juan Soto who had a couple soft groundouts in his first couple at-bats today that I know some fans weren't happy to see. Ryan, thank you so much for gifting a membership. That really does mean a lot. Very exciting news for whoever gets that new membership in the chat, everybody. Love to see that. Thank you again, Ryan. That is absolutely fantastic. And that is gifted to White Mike in the chat for becoming a new member of the chat. Congratulations, Mike. That's awesome. But Soto steps up. He pulls one to the right side, and it gets through. Soto drives in Taylor. He ties the ball game. Mets fans finally have something to cheer about at Citi Field for the one and only and Juan Soto. And just like that, folks, we have ourselves a tied ball game. You were there? Oh, I'm jealous, Brandon. I can only imagine. I'm sure it was like a playoff atmosphere. It was looking that way. People were singing My Girl so loud that I could hear it all the way here from Pennsylvania. And I'm not talking television. I'm talking going outside. Like, I'm sorry, what? My Girl. It's okay, but cringy enough. Let's get on further in this one, everybody. We then get to the top of the sixth. We're in the top of the sixth. We would see Wilson Contreras rip a double, his fourth of the year. Nolan Arenado then quickly drives him in with a single to left, and then Brendan Donovan would ground out softly there to Peterson, and then here comes Max Kranick to try to get the final couple outs of the inning, and he thankfully is able to do exactly that. He gets Walker on a pop out and Thomas on a strikeout, and folks, David Peterson's final line is as follows. He went 5.1 innings of 99 pitch, 7 hit, 0 walk, 3 earned run, 9 strikeout ball. I want to hear from you guys. How would you grade David Peterson's final line today, as he was, I shouldn't say dominant by any stretch, but he was solid for the Mets in this outing. The Cardinals did a really good job on working his counts in this matchup pretty consistently, and that's why he had to escape some early jams and also gave up some early runs. But Peterson, what I love so much about him is that even when you're not getting your best out of Peterson, it still is pretty solid, all things considered, because he has been a huge focal point of this Mets rotation for the past year and a half now, but especially this past year coming back from injury. There since last June, where he returned the Mets in 2024 from his hip surgery the offseason prior, Peterson has really gone in a groove to be more of that go-to guy in this rotation. And I'm going to give David Peterson out of this outing, I'm going to give him a solid 6 out of 10. Not going to go too high, not going to go too low. Nice and comfortable, just right is David Peterson. Because as we saw in his arsenal tonight, everybody, what did Peterson have working in that multi-pitch mix? Well, I'll tell you, it is the following, everybody. Yeah, the four-seam fastball throwing 36% of the time, topping out 95, sitting 93. The slider, 24% of the time, topping out 87, sitting right around 85. The sinker, topping out 18% of the time, topping out 95, sitting right around 92. The changeup, 11% of the arsenal, was topping out 87, sitting right around 84. And the curveball at 10% of the arsenal, topping out 82, sitting right around 80. David Peterson, a fine outing for him. A nice amount of swing and miss that we saw, especially that we saw the bite not only with the four-seam, but certainly there on the slider. We saw a 34% whiff rate there against left-handers and a 41% rate there for the sinker that we saw, which was really impressive stuff there against lefties in particular. But David Peterson, a solid outing, nothing too sexy, nothing too crazy, just got the job done. What are we talking about? Someone said Wardy got banned? What are you I have no clue what you're talking about. Oh, is the lag bad? Hold on, everybody. Is the lag okay? How are we doing, folks? Let me just make sure everything's good. Yeah, no, everything's fine. We're all good, right? Yeah, I don't know. Who the hell said I was banned? I'm like, what? What did I do? You cue the 50 Cent meme? You know, when he's like, F me? What do you mean F me? I just got here. You know, what? Okay, we're getting on a big tangent. Let's continue to break down this ball game, because man, was this fun. If only every game could be this. Granted, I don't want to heartthrob every single game where I'm getting too stressed out, but at the same time, there are no games better or more entertaining than this early season, the way that we go back and forth the way that we do. I sincerely do apologize to everybody too on the lag. Hopefully it'll calm down. I think it just has more so to do because of the fact that we were absolutely going pretty bananas in this show. What I would recommend everyone on the lag front, simply refresh the stream. It should be Brendan, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Brendan states, how do I become a member? I hit the link and it brought me to your YouTube page. So Brendan, if you're watching this through your phone, do it through the link. And if not, on your computer, there should be a button that says become a member. You can click there and it'll give you your membership tier options, and that's the easiest way for you to join. Again, everybody, I do sincerely apologize for the lag. I hope it hasn't been too obnoxious. These things are naturally going to happen at times when we have a show that's been popping the heck off the way that it has been. And I know you guys aren't BSing me at all. And I do have everything connected here. Still lagging? Okay, everybody, let's see how bad the lag is. I'm going to double check for myself real quick, and I'll go from there. Yeah, like I said, everybody, try to reset, and then I think we should be okay. It's going to probably be lagging on and off throughout the course of the show. Once more, I do sincerely apologize. This just tends to happen when I have a lot of things running, and we have a lot to say and a lot of slides to utilize, among other things. Let's see. Audio's good. Vision is choppy. Gotcha. I apologize again. All right, guys. We're going to continue to try to chug through this, and hopefully it's going to be okay. But if it's unbearable, let me know, guys, and we'll try to do something else. It's a walk-off lag. Mothman, thank you so much. He says, the atmosphere was amazing. Glad I was part of it. Mothman, holy shit. Maybe you were actually right, Mothman, because he has the ball in his hand. Guys, Mothman in the chat may have very well been the guy to actually get the Francisco Lindor walk-off home run. Are you kidding me? And that's actually and that is what actually transpired. I am jaw-dropped right now. That is insane. There is no way. There is no way that Mothman actually got the actual home run ball by Francisco Lindor. But I kind of believe him, because I don't know why you would go out of your way to lie about something like that unless you're being a complete schmuck. Like, seriously, that is insane. Guys, check out the donation in the chat right now from Mothman stating the following: the atmosphere was amazing. Glad I was part of it. Earlier in the chat, he said that I was there and I actually retrieved the ball. That's insane. I can't even fathom that. Oh my goodness gracious. That's bananas. But as we get back into breaking down this ballgame, everybody, let's continue to do exactly that. As we got to the bottom of the sixth, Mark Vientos came up, and man, oh man, did he step up. Marky V ties this ballgame with his second home run in as many days. He rips a piss missile that we saw to left. His second home run of the year, but his first home run that he actually ripped there to the left side. We would see that be a tied 3-3 ball game with Mark Vientos, and man, oh man, what an impressive job by Mark. He's really starting to step up now. Nothing else transpires for the Mets then. As we get to the top of the seventh, we're in the top of the seventh. We would see a 1-2-3 inning there for Max Kranick. Max, the Bulldog Kranick, gets the job done yet again. He gets a key strikeout of Michael Ciani, and then a final line out there by Victor Scott, which then leads us to the bottom of the seventh, where the Mets have themselves Jojo Romero coming in there after Tyrone Taylor pops out. We would see Francisco Lindor ground out. After Lindor ground out, everybody, we would see Juan Soto then get on with a walk. After the Juan Soto walk, the Polar Bear gets on with a walk. Back-to-back walks here for the boys, and sadly, they weren't able to pounce, because then they bring in Phil Maton. Yes, that same Phil Maton comes in to face Starling Marte, and Starling Marte unfortunately flies out, and that about does it. And yes, guys, I do apologize if we have a little bit of a lag going in the show. The audio should be okay, but I do apologize if it is a bit laggy. Let's see here in the chat. Let's see what did I just missed a comment here. Get me 1 second, everybody. Okay, as we continue on, that screen lag. Yeah, like I said, I apologize if we're lagging like a mofo. If it gets worse before it gets better, I may cut this and we'll start up another show. It's not the end of the world. But let's continue breaking it down from here, everybody. Lag is defeated. No, don't tell me the lag is defeated. It's only lagging on the voice, not on the video. The voice is smooth and it's constant. The video's choppy, but it's okay. I can listen. Okay. I see. I gotcha. So, again, it really is just because of everything that transpired. This was just bananas. I can't believe Mothman got that baseball. I'm still not over it. That's literally ridiculous. In the eighth inning, though, everybody, we saw in the eighth a 1-2-3 there. Fantastic job by Ryan Stanek, working that fastball, touching 99. Then we saw Mark Vientos get on with a single there in the bottom of the eighth. Here comes Luis Angel Acuna to come and pinch run for him. And after Acuna comes in a pinch run, folks, we would see him steal second base and almost get to third. Brandon Nimmo, we would see, put the ball in play. He reaches on fielder's choice, but sadly, as Acuna is trying to get to third base after Arenado is bobbling what he wants to do, Acuna initially gets to third, but he just slides slides off the bag, and because he just slides off the bag, he would find himself out by a hair. They challenged it, they reviewed it, but it was too close for them to overturn, and honestly, I understood it because it wasn't an easy thing for them to figure out whatsoever. Lindor did hit my Wi-Fi. You're 1,000% true. He really did. It felt that way, the way that I was just like jaw dropped as soon as he hit that tank there to right. Like, holy shit. Torrens, guys, with that double that we saw, that gave the Mets the lead, which was so huge, and this was after, mind you, the throwing error there on the pickoff by Phil Maton. Torrens would drive in Mr. BrandonNYM, which had me so pumped up. What a ball game for Luis Torrens, folks, as he yet again steps up. He is now 5 for 13 this season with runners in scoring position. Yeah, Torrens is looking really, really good. Really, really good. Just play the walk-off on the replay and listen to Wardy. Basically that. Oh, my goodness gracious. What a ball game this was. Lindor just absolutely destroyed that baseball, which then leads us, everybody, to the ninth. Because in the ninth, we're thinking we're going to have it. Here comes Huascar Brosnan to hopefully shut down the door. And what happens? Brendan Donovan, who has been killing the Mets this series, one of the hottest hitters out of the National League to begin the season, he rips a home run that just stays fair. It hits the netting there opposite field, and Donovan has himself his third home run of the year, and it's a 4-4 ball game, everybody. But after striking out the side from that point on, and Huascar Brosnan, who strikes out Walker, who strikes out Thomas, and strikes out Pages, that leads us to the bottom of the ninth, where Francisco Lindor, all he needed was that 1-1 pitch or so, and it was gone. Francisco Lindor has himself his second home run of the year, a no-doubter, a piss missile to right there, upper decky, and the Mets go on to win this one, folks, by a final score of, yes, 5-4. And when it came to the Mets hitting with runners in scoring position, a game that was frustrating to say the least, as they were 3 for 13, and they did leave 8 on base. So the Mets runners in scoring position woes are still continuing. It's not something that's completely fixed yet, but at the same time, I think that's okay, because ultimately the Mets are going to get in a groove, and when they do, we have yet to see the best of this ball club, which is saying a lot, because look at what the Mets have already done so far this year, everybody. The Mets have been off to a tremendous start this season. We're 13-7, when, mind you, guys like Juan Soto hasn't even been a drastic difference maker yet, as much as you'd hope for. As you guys can see here too, Francisco Lindor, what a game there for him. That's all we needed, was that tank to right, baby. His one and only home run of the ball game, making Huascar Brosnan happy to help save his butt a little bit. And shout out to Brazo too for not getting too upset after giving up that leadoff bomb right away to Donovan and striking out the next 3 batters that he saw. Brendan, thank you so much for the $5 holla. Brendan says, I can't figure it out. I'll just keep donating, Ella. You're the man. LFGM. Lindor hit a shot. I'm sorry, Brendan, but we'll figure it out for you soon enough on the membership front. Thank you again for all the donations. I really appreciate that, and you, my friend. Guys and gals, I got to hear from each and every one of you. How hyped up are you for the Mets on April 18th, 2025? Are you usually this excited for the Mets this early into the season? I really want to hear from you guys. How are you feeling right now with the start that the Mets are having? 13-7. What a start, baby. Not complaining much whatsoever. D-Mac with a $5 holla. Thank you kindly, D-Mac. D-Mac says, Cards are fighting tooth and nail. Were you surprised they didn't use their closer in the ninth? I actually was a little surprised. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a tied ball game, and you're going to keep... I'm sorry, what are you going to do? You're going to put Fernandez in there? Why would that make sense when they could have brought in their flamethrower in Helsley or so and actually had themselves a better chance to get to extra innings? I didn't understand that. You're facing the top of the lineup too. Like, I would understand it more if, say, you're facing towards the end of the lineup where maybe it's not as producing as much from the Mets, even though Tyrone did look good today. So did Baty, that we'll get into in a second. But otherwise, I just don't understand why they would pitch the way that they did with Lindor there. But I'm not complaining. It happened for a reason. The Mets walked it off, and that is the most important thing, everybody. Folks, smash that like and subscribe button as your first chime in as we're breaking down the latest in Mets land as the Mets went out and had themselves a massive, a huge walk-off victory in Game 2 of a 4-game set against the St. Louis Cardinals by a final score of 5-4. Because not only was a key standout on the offensive end with guys like Francisco Lindor, we of course got guys like Mark Vientos who had his respected production, but one guy that I want to further talk about, everybody, because he continues to impress, is Brett the Hitman Baty, guys. We got to have another Brett Baty discussion right here, right now. Just like we discussed in our video that dropped earlier this morning on Brett Baty starting to impress with his play. Guys, Brett Baty's continuing to step up, and honestly, it's better late than never. And this is what I always say, everybody. As much as I have truly felt that Acuna has deserved the bulk of reps at second base, and I stand by that, if Brett Baty's going to continue to perform, now it hits in 5 consecutive games that he has been out there. He's pulling baseballs. He's driving baseballs. He's not relying on just going the opposite field way. There is so much to love about what Brett Baty is finally doing at the major league level now. So much so that this is a great position to be in if you're the Mets when you evaluate Jeff McNeil once he comes back from his rehab stint. Jose Azcar could very well be kicked out of the roster, and you keep Baty here, Acuna and McNeil. You rotate McNeil and Acuna in the outfield second base. You rotate Baty at second and third base with Vientos based on matchup and maybe giving Vientos some starts there at DH. You get creative with it as long as it benefits the team and it's not hurting his development. All I care about on the Acuna front is that he doesn't have his development hurt by not starting back-to-back games. But one thing that I really did appreciate was that in back-to-back games, even when Acuna didn't start the ball game, he still came in as a pinch runner. He pinch ran for Brett Baty yesterday that we saw in the victory after Baty ripped his double to the right side. Then today we saw him come in as a pinch runner for Mark Vientos in the 8th inning. And if it wasn't for him just sliding off that bag ever so slightly there at third base, he would have been safe, no doubt in my mind. So Brett Baty, Luisangel Acuna, I am more than happy with these guys on the team, and they're all here doing their parts, because that is the most important thing, right? But Brett Baty, shout out to him, a 2-for-3 day with the double in the RBI, a 209 average, and a 511 OPS now on the season, everybody. Fantastic stuff. And actually, I apologize, because this might be the wrong line of Brett Baty. It's not purposeful if that's the case. I just might have had it confused from yesterday's, and I believe I do, because Brett Baty didn't have an RBI. I apologize, everybody. He's at a 217 average with a 560 OPS. Disregard the player graphic there for a second. That was from yesterday's game. Like I said, I was speed running all this as fast as humanly possible, so my apologies if everything wasn't as accurate as I was hoping it would otherwise be. Let's see if I have my Torrens graphic, if that is the way that I want it. Okay, yes it is. Okay, now we're going to shift to Luis Torrens, because the Mets don't get in the position that they did today without Luis Torrens having yet another key hit here for the Amazons. Let's take a couple minutes here to appreciate the greatness that is our backup catcher, Luis Torrens, our current starter, and a guy that's going to get plenty playing time platooning with Francisco Alvarez throughout the course of the season. I mean, crazy, all those pieces missing. What are we talking about, White Mike? Are we talking about just the team overall? Let me hear it. Indeed, Wardy, about Acuna game playing time. I remember David Stern saying something similar during spring training, speaking of the importance of Acuna's development, 1,000%, 100%. Why isn't Lindor captain? Because I think the Mets want to do something a little dramatic in how they're going to announce it at some point this season or next season. But he is already named captain for Team Puerto Rico in the WBC for next year. We know that. Man, oh man. I love this team so much, guys. Torrens, what a game for him. He's now at a 255 average, a 733 OPS. If it isn't for Luis Torrens, the Mets don't get anywhere in this ball game. Ripping that ball to the left side and driving that run at the time was absolutely monster. It's a shame that that wasn't the initial game-winning hit for this Mets team, as that initially gave the Mets their 4-3 lead before Donovan tied it up with his solo shot right away a half inning later. But you know what? Sometimes everything happens for a reason. And in the case of Luis Torrens, I think it's fair to say that this happened for a reason. It's fair to say that Torrens had to be the guy to first bring in a run in the 8th inning for Francisco Lindor to be the magic man, Himdor himself, Mr. Smile, our captain, our MVP, to walk it off there in home run fashion the way that he did. Because that is easily one of the better Lindor home runs that we've seen in the regular season at Citi Field. That shit was tanked. I can't get over just how dominated that was. Like, it was such a no-doubter to right. I'm like, literally, as soon as it got off the bat, I looked at my girl right away. I was like, oh, that's gone. I jumped right out of my seat. And the fact that it didn't even lose a top deck and right field showed you how much he had it right away. This is an exciting time to be a Mets fan, everybody. The boys aren't even on full cylinders right now. They still have their struggles with runners in scoring position. Their pitching has carried them, and Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas haven't even pitched a start yet. Guys, I understand that we're going to go through the ebbs and flows in a 162, and I understand that naturally things are going to get worse before they continue to stay as hot as they do, probably. Or maybe I'm wrong. You know, we'll see what happens with this team, but even with the hard schedule that will inevitably come up for this team, I'm so proud of them. I'm so excited to see what they can do when they are finally starting to click on all full cylinders. That is one of the cooler things that I cannot wait to see transpire, because in the case of Soto, you guys all heard the boos raining and pouring on him in this game today. It wasn't it was impossible to ignore, right? It was a loud Citi Field crowd for sure, but even having said that, even bearing that in mind, I was still happy to see that Soto was able to kind of silence the doubters a little bit, hush them up a little bit that we saw by finally pulling that baseball to the right side. And Juan Soto now against left-handed pitching this season, folks, is batting 5 for 11, a 455 average with an RBI, 5 walks, and a just under 1,200 OPS. It's almost like you shouldn't bring in a lefty specialist to face Juan Soto, yet it happens all the time. 15 strikeouts tonight. Damn right, William. Great stat. I'm glad that you brought that up. Let me show you guys also what we have here. And my apologies once more for the lag we may or may not be having. Unfortunately, we do get the lag every now and then when we have like a big game, a big reaction like this, because I had a lot of tabs open. I had a lot of things I was trying to pull up for each and every one of you as soon as I possibly could. But guys, let's talk a bit more on Francisco Lindor, because he's had his heavy critics and he's had a lot of people advocating for him. And I want to know where you guys stand as, oh, come on, I have the Juan Soto graphic. I apologize, everybody. Ignore that. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to show the Torrens graphic, because I don't want to know. Unfortunately, they didn't all save the way that I think I wanted them to, and that's okay. These things are going to happen sometimes. No worries. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to the Torrens graphic, and we're going to continue to talk about Soto here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let's get back to the main side here, and let's talk more on not Francisco Lindor. Let's talk more on what we got from our guy and Juan Soto. And I have to ask everybody, where do you guys stand on the Juan Soto front? Have you been happy to see the booing? Have you been bothered by the booing? Are you indifferent to the booing? Where do you stand on how fans have treated Juan Soto so far this season, especially over the past stretch of games? This is the same Juan Soto who, as we all know, hit home runs in back-to-back games in the Twins series, then went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts in the series finale loss in extras. Then yesterday we saw didn't record a hit either, or if he got on base, it was just via walk. That was it. And now today he had himself an RBI single. Let's see. During yesterday's game, they said that Torrens came up as a hit. Up as a hit fist. Gotcha. Let's see. Hit first catcher. Okay, that makes more sense. Indifferent, says Ethan. Okay, that's fine. Incredibly bothered. Don't show up. I respect that. Booing Soto is dumb. They must be new bandwagon Mets fans. I think you're probably right. Seriously, because I don't understand how you are justifying doing this right now, in my opinion. I thought I heard they say the fans were cheering for Soto tonight. They were. They did a standing no. So let me give you guys a breakdown. And Soto's first 2 at-bats where he had his groundouts, there was a wave of boos. It wasn't a boos to the extent of like, oh my God, it took over the entire stadium. But you could hear them clearly when he had 40,000 strong at Citi Field tonight. And then as he got to his 3rd at-bat, he got a standing no, more than his previous at-bats in the game from what I saw on television. I can't speak for anyone that actually attended the game. So if anyone did and is watching this, you guys can relay the message better than I can. But what I can tell you is that he got a standing no leading up to his 3rd at-bat, and ultimately that's what led him to driving in that run and tying the ballgame at the time. So, listen, I'm not for booing whatsoever, especially when you bring in a new guy in town who that's just trying to get comfortable here, because regardless of how much money the Mets are spending on Juan Soto, he's still human at the end of the day, and he still can go through his ebbs and flows in a 162 just as much as the next guy. And here's something regarding Juan Soto that I'm not sure if Mets fans have truly grasped yet, but let me enlighten you. Is it true that we are likely to get the best performance ever from Juan Soto in his career in a Mets uniform? Yes, there's a great reality where that is the case. Is it also true that we're probably going to see the worst Juan Soto's ever played in his baseball career as a Met? Yes, that is also true. Knowing that Soto's locked up for the next 10 to 15 years at minimum, there 15 really, because I don't see a chance on the Mets let him to go anywhere after his 5th-year option. There is a great realm where you're going to have a balance of both. We're going to go through flows with Soto. We're going to go through highs. We're going to go through lows. And in the case of him, we have to appreciate him for the highs. And on the lows, we have to try to uplift him, because this is a guy that's supposed to carry us along with Lindor and along with Alonso. It's imperative to make sure that he performs well, but it's even better when we're helping support the guy get to where we want him to be. I highly suggest trying to uplift players and to kick them down, because as someone who has relationships with players actively in the game, previous players as well, I've spoken to plenty of people, not only the player front office personnel, former agents, etc. And the vast majority have all stated the following, that it's been more of a negative than a positive for players on the booing front. And it affects everyone differently. You know, it can affect one guy very indifferent, where they're like, I'm just going to go out there and do my job regardless. Or it could affect someone so terribly where you have a diehard New York Yankee fan and Joey Gallo finally getting the opportunity to play for his hometown favorite team, just to be scared straight out of town because he couldn't hit a lick, and the fans, instead of trying to rally around him, gave him such flack that he was actually scared, and he said this verbatim in an interview, he was scared to leave his home because of how much that he would be absolutely bombarded by Yanks fans talking shit on him left, right, and center. And Joey Gallo's a big guy. It's hard to miss him. So knowing that that was what his homecoming was as someone who grew up a diehard Yankees fan, that in part went in hand with derailing his career. That, and obviously having a poor launch angle that just had so much swing and miss opportunity that he was a juice baseball merchant with the Texas Rangers. But you guys get the point that I'm trying to make, right? It's smart to do right by the players then versus doing wrong. And it's 10 times better than when we see them perform, because again, they're performing after we're uplifting them. So again, you guys can do what you want. Obviously, you're going to do what you want, but that's my personal opinion on the matter. Let's see. Because while we want him in first, a lot is coming. Oh, a lot is 100%. 100%. Let me check here. Let's see. You guys crack me up in the chat. Wardy, do you think the Mets lock up Pete after the 1 year is done? I think there's a great reality that the Mets are going to try their best to lock him up. That is for sure. Without question, they're going to do everything in their power to try to lock him up. But everybody, we're going to continue on the live show for the next 20 minutes or so. But all my replay viewers, this is where we're going to be cutting things off. So once more, I apologize if this was a pretty laggy show for each and every one of you. That is not what I intended. That's just sadly the case. It happens at times when we have a lot of things going on to try to go live right away after the Mets win a game in a walk-off fashion. I'll do my best to try to avoid this next time around. But seriously, when we have like north of 1,000 people just pump it in the chat right away, this thing sometimes can't handle it, what's happening live in real time. So I apologize for that. But everyone, in our live chat right now, we're going to continue on our discussion. We're going to break down more about the key takeaways from this 5-4 victory for the Mets. And for all my replay viewers, please let us know all your key takeaways down below in the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Help us get to 400 plus likes here in the live show if we haven't gone there already. Help us get to 33K subs, and let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.